Hello, welcome to And Now and HR Summit. So could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kevin Wheeler from the Future of Talent Institute.
Hello, I'm Gustavo Razzetti, founder of Liberationist.
My name is Pim De Morree and I'm from Corporate Rebels.
Is this your first time in Istanbul or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, me too.
No, I've been here for holidays before. Love the city.
So where have you been beforehand? To lots of cities or just Istanbul?
Izmir and Istanbul.
So did you like it?
Yeah, both are really nice cities.
What about you? Did you like Istanbul or?
So far, yes, I like the hotel, I like the trip from the airport, and I like the conference room, but I'm afraid I'm going to spend a lot of time around.
The same as him, but I'm taking a tour later.
Oh, that's great. So Bosporus, of course, my first suggestion. So I just would like to ask you some questions. First of all, Pim, what do you think about the happiness in the organizations? I know that, and all of us know that this is one of the biggest problems or the challenges which HR is having in the organizations. So what kind of quick steps or quick wins do we need to get to be able to increase happiness or engagement of the employees in the organizations?
I indeed think it's a big problem as well. And I think in most companies, happiness is totally not in order. And a lot needs to happen in the way we organize work to create more engaging workplaces. It's really hard to say what to do because people always want to know the top 3 things to do, right? And how to change their organization. I cannot tell anybody how to be happy. It's up to the people themselves to figure out what it is they want to change in their workplace. So as an organization, a good starting point would be simply to ask people, what are currently your biggest frustrations in the workplace and how can we get rid of them? Or what do you like to do most when it comes to your work and how can we make sure you can do that more? And those very basic, simple questions are unfortunately not asked a lot in today's workplaces.
So let's say that I have summarized that these are the things that which people are having problem or something like that, but it's sometimes really related with the culture. So it's a huge project to be able to change the culture which the employees would like. So let's say that I am working as an HR manager and I would like to change something towards the happiness. So what kind of action steps or milestones would you suggest to me?
Well, the first step, as mentioned before, sit down with your team and figure out what it is that they want to change in their workplace.
So as is, what's the as is and the current situation you mentioned?
Yeah, what is the current situation and what can we change to make your workplace better? And then there's a lot of inspiration you can draw from pioneering workplaces all across the world actually. The ones, among others, that we have been researching to figure out and to get inspired by what they do differently. For example, a big topic is leadership, right? And that there's not enough supportive leadership in organizations. Well, one very simple thing to change in organizations is instead of, for example, having managers evaluate their team members, just turn it upside down and let team members evaluate their managers and see whether they think they are supportive or not. And these simple tweaks and changes in structures of organizations can be very powerful in solving some of the big problems that we have in organizations.
Cool, thank you so much. So in my second question will be about maybe if you just think of a few seconds, good case practices you heard maybe to be able to increase. I'm just going past to the other people, then I will come back to you, okay? And change management and leadership, which I really personally love, especially in the organizational development issues. So let's say in this world, which is changing too fast, what do you think about the word change for the organizations?
I think that change is a hot topic, but I think what we're doing is we're getting it wrong. A lot of people talk about change management, and change cannot be managed because change happens, it's a personal decision, so you cannot change people. People need to change from within. So I think that organizations spend a lot of time and money trying to convince people that this is the right path versus trying to connect with what people want to do and make sure that those individual and collective purpose align. I think that one thing that we do is like normally clients say, I want to build a culture of innovation, a culture of change. And we say, well, that's a byproduct. First, you need to start with changing people. They're becoming more self-aware, work with the creativity, resilience, and many other aspects. Then change the team. No, the team for me is like a change unit. And then as many teams start to change, then you can affect the broader organization. Change cannot happen top-down. It's to have more like a rebellion, like a guerrilla from the core.
So cool. I'm gonna also ask you maybe a good case practice that we can share. So just think of it for a few seconds, okay? So the third issue is, of course, recruitment and talent management. Let's say that I would like to recruit the best people to my organization. I have recruited, but I cannot keep them. So what do you think about the best and the stars in the organization? So like the retention.
I think there's two ways you can look at this. You can look at the fact that you cannot attract top talent. The other one is that top talent isn't attracted to you. And so you've got to say, which is the biggest challenge that we have? Is there something in our organization they're not happy? It's boring, it's a terrible structure, that no one wants to come and work here. So I think you really have to be very critical about examining your own organization. The problem is not the people. The problem is in your organizational structure and how you have put that together. I don't personally think there's any talent shortage at all. I think there's a shortage of understanding of what people want in the workplace. And as to Pip's point, if you are looking for a happy, empowered, and exciting environment, most companies don't offer that. And so the top talent have no interest in working for those kind of companies. So it's a complicated problem, but it's actually also, on the other hand, a fairly simple problem. That you have to redesign your organization to match the talent that exists, rather than expecting the talent to change to match your organization.
All right. So how can I be sure that a person is the right talent for my team, let's say, especially in terms of the attitudes? Like behavioral competencies.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a very, very complicated thing. It's also something that's very, very subjective. I think that the way that really good teams select people is based more on their feeling and instinct than it is on some sort of quantitative analysis of somebody's skills and background. So if I meet you and I like you and you have the basic qualifications, you're probably going to be a very good employee for our company. If I don't really like you, but you have great qualifications and I hire you, you're probably not going to be happy and I'm probably not going to be happy. So even though we don't like it, the human connection is a very, very important piece of hiring the really good people.
Okay, cool, thank you. So, any GCP good case practice would you like to share?
Yeah, one that I personally really like, as you can imagine with the name Corporate Rebels, is to have a group of rebels in your organization who continuously challenge the status quo. And to continuously ask the question to the organization, why do we do the things we do them? And there are some organizations around the world doing this and showing a lot of benefits from having such a group of people who do not have a job description. The only thing that they have is the opportunity to challenge the status quo in the organization and to challenge people constantly. Why do we do the things we do them? And I think that's vital to continuously being able to adapt yourself and to improve the way you work. To just have these people around that continuously are the maybe annoying people in the organization who challenge the way you do things, but in the end will lead the organization to improve itself on a long-term basis.
Sure. So, what about you? Any GCP would you like to say?
Absolutely. I think that Kevin was mentioning that there's no shortage of talent. Our organization is called Liberations because we will liberate the leadership gene and the change gene within every employee. I think that most managers believe that they're good at delegating, but one thing that they don't want to share with their team is decision making. And the moment you don't allow people to make decisions, you're not really being a true manager. So one experiment that we do a lot is what we call safe to try decisions, which are basically let your team start experimenting with different changes, and basically if those decisions are not going to hurt the team or the company, let them go ahead and make it happen. So sometimes we get paralyzed because we overanalyze. I agree with Kevin. Our instinct is much intelligent than our rational side. Let your team decide and take some risk and make decisions, experiment, and then they can course correct and see what happens.
So, like a more agile organization, what I hear from you.
Yeah.
In terms of taking decisions.
It is connected with Agile, but it's not necessarily in that line. But it's basically let's create small prototypes of decision making and let your team take those decisions, not you as the leader or the manager.
All right. Okay. So, do you have any suggestion to our participants, especially for tomorrow and maybe today? So, like that, or for the next year in terms of the HR? Any advice? And just pay attention to in terms of now and next concept.
I think from a talent perspective, we over-credential and we over-analyze every job in a company. We've created job descriptions that are as long as my arm and as meaningless as my arm. And I think what we need to do is to just tell people, I want you to achieve this goal, and let them go and try to achieve that goal.
Good point. Thank you so much.
I think that HR needs to decentralize its function and take care of the most basic administrative legal part and the more strategic cultural part, but then the middle, like hiring, recruiting, nurturing people, talent development, that should fall into the manager's responsibilities.
Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to try new stuff. And that's what organizations don't do enough. And as Gustavo said before, just experiment with something. Try it for a month. The company won't go bankrupt in a month's time, even if you try quite radical stuff. Just give it a try and see what works and what doesn't work.
Okay. Thank you so much.